please permit me to stand on existing protocols so that we don't waste people's time. Um, but distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my special privilege for me to welcome you to this special occasion on behalf of Agora Policy and its partners. The Shehu Musaya Adio Foundation, the cable newspapers, Center for Journalism, Innovation and Development, the Center for Climate Change and Development, Clean Technology Hub, and Nature News. As we welcome you, we also thank you. We thank you for your esteemed presence, for your valuable time, and for the considered thoughts and inputs that you are going to bring to bear on today's proceedings. We do not take any of this for granted. Thank you. Our special gratitude also goes to the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, especially to Dr. Kole Shetima and his remarkable colleagues at the Foundation's office in Nigeria. Not only for supporting this event and the reports we are presenting today, but also for taking a bet on Agora Policy. Within just 2 years, Agora Policy has established an outsized profile in the think tank space in Nigeria, with a series of policy papers, high-level events, and workshops on policy analysis and advocacy. Without the catalytic support from MacArthur Foundation, this wouldn't have been possible. Sir, we thank you for your faith, for your guidance, and for your backing. Thank you so much. We're also grateful to the authors of the seminar report on the impact of climate change in Nigeria. Professor Chuks Okereke, Professor Emmanuel Oladipo, Ms. Ifoma Malo, and Dr. Folaeno. Our gratitude also goes to Dr. Abiba Dagash, Dr. Akinyemi Akinyuha, and Dr. Mohamed Aminu for their critical inputs into the report. We equally thank our eminent resource persons for today, Mr. Abubakar Sulaiman, the CEO of Sterling Bank, Mrs. Olufunke Barua of the Ford Foundation, Mr. Tengi George Ikoli of NRGI, who will join us shortly, Mr. Amaranwakpa of the Shehu Musaya Adio Foundation, and Mr. Oyi Alegbe, a media elder statesman, and our master of ceremony for today. We have invited you here for 2 reasons. 1, for the public presentation of the 84-page report by Agora Policy entitled Climate Change and Socio-Economic Development in Nigeria. And 2, for a deliberation on how Nigeria can minimize the burdens and maximize the opportunities of climate change. Organized as part of the preparation for COP28, this event aims to contribute to raising the status and the depth of climate change discussion and action in Nigeria. I do not intend to preempt the highlights of the reports, which will be presented by the lead author, or the candid and robust deliberation that we're here for. But permit me, please, to say a few things as a way of setting the stage. I will start with what I consider the obvious, and that is climate change does not enjoy the prominence it deserves in Nigeria. Yes, there are some individuals, organizations, both local and international, and government agencies that are making a strong case for and designing and implementing consequential climate interventions in the country. Some of them are here with us in this hall, and some are online. We salute them, we thank them. But the sad and inconvenient truth is that climate change still does not rank very high on our policy agenda and in our popular imagination. Both in official circles and among the populace, climate issues are not seen as really important and urgent. Our national attitude oscillates between denial and indifference. Most of our people, including highly placed government officials, see climate change as other people's problems, or an issue that is only for tree huggers and environmentalists, or something that should bother only those who have the luxury of not wrestling with hunger and existential matters. As we say in Pidgin, something for people who don't belle full. And just as a rider to that, We also were all here during the presidential debate, and climate change barely registered. And even when questions were asked, the responses were, just backwards, right? Or because we are a people of fantastic faith, we simply think and believe that the negative impacts of climate change will never be our portion. But the burdens of shifts in climatic conditions are already our portion. They are all around us. The rise in temperature, the irregular rainy patterns, the near perennial flooding across the country, the increasing threats of desertification and gully erosion, and others already have deep negative impacts on food production, food security, and food inflation, and on water, on health and productivity, on energy and infrastructure, and on the conflicts that continue to multiply, partly on account of vanishing natural resources. Whether we accept it or not, whether we think it is other people's or our own edict or not, whether we think it's our portion or not, climate change is already exerting a big toll on the things we consider critical and urgent. It is already here and now, not a matter of hereafter. And it's simply not something we can wish away with faith. And because it is multidimensional, because of its multidimensional and ramified nature and its multiplier effects, climate change is the most existential threat that we face today. And it is projected to get significantly worse within a few years. This silent crisis of today is likely to escalate into a catastrophic one soon, unless we act urgently, intentionally, and boldly. There are additional reasons for greater urgency. We are a resource-intensive but ironically energy-poor country. The global transition away from fossil fuels poses grave threats to government revenue at all levels, and also to our capacity to provide the much-needed power for homes and industries. Our capacity to fight poverty and achieve the MDGs and to increase national productivity and competitiveness may be further compromised. The transition away from fossil fuels may be paused for now in the aftermath of Russia-Ukraine, but it won't be paused for too long. In a related but significant vein, the energy transition is creating a new economy, an intense scramble for critical minerals already spawning instability all around us, and a strategic positioning by countries to ensure that their interests are well served in the emerging new economic order. Where are we as a country in all of this? That's a question for all of us to answer. But let me conclude by saying we cannot afford to be a bit player, except we are content with holding the short end of the stick, or to be further consigned to the margins of existence. We need to see climate change as the central development challenge for our country, not in the future, but today. And we need more than a conversation or the commitments of the converted. We need an all-of-society approach. From political authorizers to policy wonks to the ordinary persons on the streets and the homes, we all have roles to play, and we all need to act differently. Again, we say welcome to you all. We look forward to a fruitful, impactful, and solution-oriented deliberation. Thank you, and God bless.